back to
Just
Right Now.
This is episode what?
5
already. So guys, we're moving. We're staying consistent. We love talking to you guys, and we're very excited for this episode.
So true.
Yes. Last episode, we just recently uploaded a video related to Valentine's Day. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's based on building a relationship with yourself. But getting into this video, this topic will be about
self-doubt in your early 20s.
Yes, which I think has a great correlation to our last episode, because it still has to do with, you know, getting that deep connection within yourself and building that relationship.
I think before anything, you have to realize why you have self-doubt.
Yes.
Before you can move on with anything else, and what's keeping you back from moving forward in your life. So it's definitely something we all deal with. I can say I have doubt sometimes. I know you probably do.
The most successful and even people.
Everyone has self-doubt, but there are ways that you can try to combat it. And so, yeah, I think it's just such an important topic to discuss. So we hope you enjoy this one.
Yes, sir. Okay, so to begin, I think it's definitely important to talk about what self-doubt is, both in an objective and subjective sort of definition. But I think that in a subjective definition, since I don't have a dictionary right now, self-doubt is just not being so sure or confident that your potential can come out
into the world.
Yes, come out into the world. So having all of these ideas and all of these dreams and beliefs about yourself, talents, passions, but just not really proving it. You're not taking the action because you doubt it.
Yeah.
And there could be a lot of reasons for it, but yeah, would you agree that that's kind of self-doubt?
Spot on.
I think anyone who's watching this has probably experienced self-doubt because it's just part of being human. I'm actually reading a book by Russ, who's obviously an incredibly successful rapper, and even he was saying how he's dealt with self-doubt even when he was at his peak, even winning his, all his awards. But I think that you can be the most confident, intelligent, successful person, and self-doubt is always, it's going to creep up on you. It's part of just being human.
I feel like in this day and age, we always feel like it's another person that is like judging us, so that's what we think it is and whatever, but usually it's what we think of ourselves.
Dang, that was good.
Yeah, that is projecting into the world or some way that maybe you're not going for that job that you really think you could do. Maybe you're not going to talk to that person you really want to talk to, but you're like, oh, like they won't like me or whatever. Like, there's so many forms in which self-doubt can come out. Mm-hmm. So that was a really good definition of it's not believing in yourself.
And I like what you said, because a lot of the times we may not even realize, but we try to excuse it onto the other person, like, oh, that job won't think I'm qualified, or that person will reject me. But in reality, it's like, if you haven't taken the actual action and have not even given yourself the opportunity to fail or get rejected, then that is self-doubt. That's what it's about. It's not even taking that step forward to maybe get rejected or maybe fail, which has its beautiful parts, because obviously it helps you grow. But
so that's perfect. And a big thing with self-doubt, when trying to understand self-doubt, I think many people try to get to the end product first, which is confidence, like trying to put it out like they're confident and they're like it's like more like a trait to people. But to be confident in yourself, that is not a personality trait. It's something that you have to work on and to actually like build it as a skill for yourself.
It's a skill.
It's a skill. Yeah. So like you can try and say like this is not working out because of a certain thing, or like an external factor, like I'm going through this, I'm going through that, or this person doesn't like me, so I'm not going to get this, or whatever. Like you can try and put it onto the external, because that is how that's what our brains can see. It's the outside, but we're not really looking of like, why are we thinking those things? Mm-hmm. Why do I think that person thinks that of me before I even try?
Yeah.
And so it's more situational, I would say, like to be to have self-doubt is like, it's not going to be for the rest of your life. You will have moments of feeling confident, and usually those confident boosters is when you're truly doing something you are doing, like, you love. But like, the self-doubt comes when you're listening to external factors and you are allowing those other opinions to come into your brain, and then you will let that affect you before you've even tried something.
Just like she said, it's a skill in the sense of like, you need to continuously act on fear, even if you're afraid to fail or get rejected or anything. You need to put action. Confidence is, like she said, not something you're born with. It's not something that you can literally buy or grasp. It's something that is built time after time, practice after practice. So you still having that self-doubt, but acting on it and not letting it hinder you from moving forward is what's going to build your confidence in the long run. But yeah, it's very good. I think that we should also mention how we believe that self-doubt comes about.
For sure.
Because I think it's all in the childhood.
It is!
I hate
ding, ding, ding!
Freud was up to something. No, yeah, 100%. How would you think, you personally, how would you say your childhood has maybe, now you can see, has like, made it a little bit difficult for you to believe in yourself fully?
I think in general, it's not, my childhood had a big effect on me, and a lot of people can say like they don't remember their childhood and a lot of that, and that is where the doubt comes. It's like, I don't remember this, so I don't have a correlation to that, so it goes into a cycle in their brains a lot of the time. And so a lot of self-doubt is usually, it can be ingrained in your head. Like if someone were to tell you like were going for a passion of yours and they were trying to judge you and they were being like, oh, that doesn't seem like it's accessible enough, or like you could do that quickly, or like it's not realistic and stuff like that. Like, that's going to create self-doubt in you because you're allowing those things to be a factor in you. And when you're a kid, you're not really aware of all the things like being put into your head. So I think a lot of self-doubt comes in the unknown. Like when you don't know something, or let's say you don't know the outcome of something, you don't know how a certain thing happened when you were a kid, but like you have some memories of it and whatever. It's like when you are in the unknown, of course you're gonna feel some sort of self-doubt. You can't blame yourself for that either. That's a natural way of like feeling that emotion. Like self-doubt is to not believe in yourself in a way, and then you not knowing can hinder that as well. And so like in my childhood, I had 3 siblings, 2 parents, a big family, just a lot of external and just always being told things, which everyone has. Everyone has like different things. It could be babysitters, it could be like going friends, like going to school and all of that. But like for me personally, it was just always hearing things and not knowing how to go about it in the moment, because of course you're a kid, you can't blame yourself for that. But at the same time, as you get older, you have to learn that you can take control of that. And while you had things that happened to you when you were a kid, let's say, and like more and it's affecting you, I think a lot of the time is we're trying to think and trying to go in a cycle of what happened, like what's going to happen, what's this, but like what if we just do?
Right, so put the action.
Yeah, like what if you were to just do? Mm-hmm. And a big thing of, I think I've heard this multiple times, where people say just take 5 seconds to ground yourself. You take 5 in the moment seconds to just not think really, but just do. Of like, okay, this is a thought, I'm gonna do. You don't have to allow all those thoughts to be a thing of hindering in your life, because there's thoughts are always going to happen. And that's not to say that you're not confident in yourself and you don't know yourself and all of those things. That's just to say there's ways you have to learn to deal with it. But for you, how would you say you have experienced self-doubt?
I think I've experienced a lot of self-doubt in terms of like my intelligence, from others' judgments, but as I grow, I tend to realize that others judging you and putting you down and not believing in you is just a projection of them not believing in themselves.
Yeah.
Like
So real.
In high school, I would be like the little example essays. Like my teacher would be like, "This is a great essay," and everyone would be like, "Let us guess, it's Regina," and
yeah,
it was.
It was. Period.
But you know, it was obviously really cool to see that as someone who like first language wasn't English compared to all these people, and I was like killing it in English essays. But you know, a lot of them would make jokes. You know, to them it was probably silly, but anyway, they would make jokes. And you know, as I've gotten older, I realized that I would doubt myself a lot. Like going into more leveled up classes in high school, like the AP class, I'd be like, can I really do it? And this is the thing that Nye and I are saying. Even in those moments of unknown, like, am I gonna fail this class? Am I gonna succeed? Am I not? I still took the classes because I was not going to allow myself to not find out the outcome or prove myself right or wrong. Like, I wasn't gonna live in a state of like, you'll never know.
Yeah.
Like, this life is so short that I just took all the classes and aced all of them. But that's the point, is you really have to just do, and it's a lot easier said than done, I understand that. But at the end of the day, like she said, self-doubt is something that we really all struggle with, and that's inevitable, but it's in our power to not let it hinder us, especially in our early 20s, which is the next topic that we should get into. Why it's so important to overcome like self-doubt in your early 20s is because your early 20s is such a pivotal time in your life. We say this time after time because this is what the podcast is about. We're in our early 20s, we're trying to figure it all out, but you know, in the meantime, you're gonna have so many external opinions, so many different people you're meeting, experiences, that if you live based off this like self-doubt in yourself and you don't believe in yourself, then in this prime time where everyone's gonna have opinions about you and you're gonna have so many opportunities, if you're not paying attention to the things that you're hindering yourself from doing, then you're not even realizing that you're not really letting yourself live. And you're not gonna take, time is the one thing we can never get back. So you don't want these years to be wasted, or this time to be wasted when you're in your literal like prime, in the sense of like youngest, figuring out your life, figuring out who you are. You don't want to look back and be like, dang, I didn't do most of these things because I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Because I just like
So
was afraid of
true.
judgment. And listen, so what if you do fail? So what?
I think
What
that's
about it?
where the growth comes.
Yeah.
I can speak firsthand for myself. Every time I didn't do something, or any time I failed at it or whatever, there's another plan. And so, like, I self-doubt, even moving to Chicago. I didn't want to move here. I had self-doubt that I could do it. I was like, I don't believe I could do it. There's so much unknown. Like, I don't really like know what's gonna happen, whatever. There was so much self-doubt. But look what came on the other side.
Yeah. It's sometimes even better than what you expect.
Like, so much better. And it's like people who are like confident, like that's like, confidence is the decision to try, but self-doubt is the decision not to.
Right, to not take that step, that leap, that action, 100%.
And another example of like, I can say is like, think of you in a class, like a classroom setting. Do you raise your hand? Do you try and engage in the conversation? Do you try and like give your input? Do you think you are not like gonna add to the conversation or whatever? I can say I've gone through that. I actually like have gone through that for a lot of my life. And just recently, like 2 months ago maybe, like the first time in a big classroom setting, I raised my hand. And I was like, damn, like what? Like that's crazy. Like I felt like I impacted the conversation. And the teacher even came up to me after and was like, damn, like you have the voice of like a president. Like you could go somewhere one day. And I never thought that of myself. Like that's not a thought that ever came, but like you never know what can happen on the other side and what can really push you. And
she would have never known that.
I would have never thought that. They're like, damn, like you have such intelligence and whatever, why don't you do this? And that's helped me in so many different ways now, to the point where I'm working in a job I would have never expected. There's so many things that happen on the other side. You just have to go for it. And it's hard. I know. I can say it firsthand. She can too.
You just have to do.
But you just have to do.
You get to do too. Because we have willpower. You know, like, don't even say like you get to take that step. You get to choose. Yeah. And I know right now we're talking about the experiences that we've gone through. We're like, okay, we didn't let self-doubt hinder us, and look, things got better. I aced my classes. She, got recognized in class. But let's talk about the times when, okay, I'm gonna take that step forward and fail.
Yeah.
What does that tell us? Okay. I think that this is also just as important, because if you decide to take an action and, disregard that little that voice in the back of your head that's saying like, I can't do it, they're gonna judge, whatever. If you disregard it and you do it and boom, someone does judge you, it doesn't turn out the way you did, that is where you can still take your power and decide, hey, I already did it at least. Mm-hmm. Why not just keep trying it? What didn't work out this time? The hardest part was to do. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, like, give up on themselves because they allow that voice to, like, dictate who they are and what their potential is, when in reality, they don't pay attention to the bigger picture, which is, you already did the hardest part. You got out there.
So real.
For example, I had my first live performance this summer, and I knew no one. My voice was not it, but I was scared. I was very, very, very scared.
Of course.
And I ended up singing whatever, and I looked back at the videos and I sounded horrible. I mean, it was not what I wanted. So this is a perfect example of like, yeah, I had self-doubt, but I still did. And I looked back at the videos and I saw my performance and I was like, that was not good. And yet, I went to another performance in which I sounded much better. And then even more, I went to another one. And now I'm releasing songs. And I know she could tell you that, like, even in pharmacy, like, exams you failed before.
I got a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Like, it's not necessarily the grades. Like, the grades were not the slap in the face, because I am a book person. If you give me a book or whatever, I can study, I can do it.
Yeah.
But it was not what I wanted to be doing.
Yeah.
And there was so much self-doubt of like, oh my God,
why do I feel
do this? Like, exactly. Like, it's so much harder to do this. Like self-doubt is not necessarily just not believing in yourself. It's also sometimes just not doing something you're meant to be doing. Like, follow your instinct a lot of the times, because yeah, like we keep saying, there are so many expectations in this world. There's so many external things that we are being fed. Social media is trying to just make it seem like everything is perfect and like everything just works out like in a snap of it. But on the other side, it takes like 2 years before you can start even making $1 sometimes for some people. So like, it is really important to not only, like, in our other videos we really talk about like learning to find happiness within yourself and like all those other things, which you should definitely check out. And this is another step of just feeling your best, is overcoming self-doubt. It's not going to leave, because it's just a thing. Like,
learning to work with it.
Exactly, because self-doubt is inevitable. I think that's a perfect word. You're gonna see someone married one day, or like you're gonna see your friends having kids and whatever, and you might not be at that spot and whatever, and you might be like doubting yourself in a way. But at the same time, you have this time for yourself to look within and to go and just do right now. You don't have to think about all those external things when you're not in that partnership with another person, and maybe you're not in your dream job and whatever. Maybe make a plan for yourself of what you want for yourself. Because a lot of the time, self-doubt is the lack of a plan. Because if you don't have a plan for yourself, how are you supposed to believe in yourself? If you really want to do something, do it and have a plan for it. Like, if you want to start a business, go look out like certain platforms that can like help you, or go research and network. Exactly. If you want to be in a relationship, or if you've been single for a while and you're looking for someone, or you want to be single, like, do the things that you are meant to be doing to excel in what you want.
Yeah, place yourself in the right environment.
Exactly.
Like, don't go to nightclubs every night if you really want to find your husband.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. But yes, very well said. Yeah. That's very important. So I think the main 3 things we've said right now is you're gonna have it regardless. A lot of it stems from past experiences, people
very
situational. And 2, the key thing is to just do. I mean, if you were expecting us to sit here and be like, how to never have self-doubt or how to, no, you're gonna have it. That's the harsh truth. It's never gonna leave. It's the beauty actually of being human. Like, nobody is perfect, not one person. So it's
but
not
you do have the power.
You have the power. Work with it, move forward from it, not let it control you. Don't ever let it control you, and just do. And like we said, like, the worst thing that can happen is you do fail or you do get rejected. Then take that rejection as redirection. You're straight. Like, keep moving forward always. And please, 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 I urge you guys to always believe in yourself. There is absolutely no reason that all of these successful top-tier people made it and you can't. Absolutely no reason.
That is such a powerful thing.
I tell myself that.
No, yeah, and it's real. And I always say that with anything. It's like with any job or whatever, just because someone else got it doesn't mean you can't.
The world is so abundant. If anything, take that as like a, wow.
Yeah.
What do they have that you don't have? There's always going to be someone better looking, sure, smarter, with more financial stability, family support. But at the end of the day, the key thing is disciplining your head. And if you really believe in yourself, keep it up, keep going, because you can do everything you put your mind to. And don't focus so much about the when. When is it going to come? When am I going to see it? The results. Do it for the love of the game, not the points.
Period. Like, that's why you have to do something you love.
Yeah.
Follow your heart. There's always going to be other people trying to tell you how to be, how they perceive you, how whatever. If you don't believe them, why are you letting it control your life? It doesn't have to be like that. And you are the first person that can take control of that. Because at the end of the day, we're all struggling in some way, shape, or form. Everyone's going through it. But how can you expect someone else to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? It's not possible, because you have to put out the action. You have to just go for it and try and see what happens on the other side. Yeah. You never know. And like, even with us starting this podcast, like, we didn't know what could come of it, and we still don't know.
But if other people can do podcasts, why can't we?
Exactly. We see
it, it's not competition. We see it as inspiration. We see it as cool. Like, you know, like,
we have a voice too.
Let's show them our different side, because just like people that are successful and that you admire and inspire to be, seem like, whoa, like they've done it all and whatever, like, there is still something that you possess inside of you that they could never do.
No one can replicate you.
No one can replicate you. There is, I truly believe, every single person has that one spark, that individual thing that's meant to shine, and the only person that's not allowing it to shine is you. Is you, Pookie.
And just because you're an introvert, that's not an excuse. Ooh, I'm gonna say that right now.
That felt personal. Who told you that?
No, because I've gotten told that before, actually. I used to say I was an introvert and whatever, and it's like, because you're an introvert, you don't like talking to people, you don't want to go out and do the like hard work and stuff. But if you truly want to do something, you will want to put out that work. And if you don't want to put out that work, you don't really want to do it. And so being an introvert, yeah, it can hinder you in certain ways. It can like make you feel anxious and whatever, but it's not an excuse to not do something. It is very, even extroverts have self-doubt. People who are putting out the most confident versions of themselves and whatever, they doubt themselves. But what's different is they're choosing to take action and put out and try to do something, whereas a lot of introverts who call themselves introverts, it's not, don't label yourself. I think it's more, just do.
Just do. Could you imagine back in the day, some dude saying like, hey, I'm gonna walk into a room and flip a switch and it's gonna turn bright and lights are gonna come on? Do you know how delusional that sounded?
Yeah.
Back in the day? Do you know how crazy? shout out Thomas Edison, because he said, I'm going to be delusional, but I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And if I fail, which he did, by the way, he failed several times, and that's what we get back to. He kept going. He said, what didn't work? Okay. He kept going because he was that delusional that he believed, because he can. And he did. And thanks to him, we now have this lighting.
Yeah, no, literally.
What about like those people that were like, I'm going to build something that's going to take us from literally Europe to Asia?
What? From the ground to space.
What? Like, things like this have happened, and you're literally doubting if you can, like, ask that guy or girl for their number, take that hard exam, perform, get out there, like.
And I'll tell you, rejection is redirection. Mm-hmm. If it happens, it happens. But don't doubt yourself because of that. Because the world has a plan for you. You just have to take initiative and do something about it.
Yeah. Action behind intention.
Yes.
You can manifest and tell yourself all of these beautiful affirmations, which I think are wonderful, but at the end of the day, they will do nothing in long run, and they mean really nothing if you don't intend to put action behind it.
Such a big one. Manifestation, it's become like a highlight thing for many people. Like, to
claim.
Like, this is gonna come to me if I just sit in my bed and like whatever. No.
Or like they see like a really fit gym girl and they're like, I claim. But it's like, get the fuck up.
Or literally
stop
vision
eating
boards.
the chips.
No, but like even vision boards, people are like, I'm gonna put this on my board and it's gonna come to me. No. You have to, it's action behind manifestation.
Yeah.
You have to do before you expect. And so, yeah, a lot of the time, many people have self-doubt. It is a big thing. We all struggle with it. But the difference is that person decided to try and you didn't. So don't allow that to be the reason. That's where regret comes in. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, believe in yourself, because like I said, you can't expect anyone else to believe you if you don't.
That one phrase that we oftentimes use, because I know you sitting there have used it at least once. Fake it till you make it.
Oh yeah.
You feel ugly, but you put on a little makeup, you still go out, fake it till you make it. I'm not even gonna trip out this zit or the fact that my hair is not giving or outfit, like fake it till you make it. And do you wanna know why it works? Because those people have put themselves in a position where they actually just did it. And they come to find out like, hey, if I can do it despite knowing, like, yeah, eventually you're gonna make it because you're acting on the opposite of what is hindering you. So you're training your brain. You're proving to yourself like, hey, I am more than that little voice in my head that says that I can't. Because your brain is so complex. So don't decide to listen to the one part that says you can't, and instead just do. And So yes, thank you guys for watching. We, as always, really appreciate your time. Time is everything to us, and you know, if you sat throughout the whole video, it means a lot, because for one, it means that you care enough to learn more about yourself in ways that you can be better, but also take advice from two young girls who are also women, who are also just figuring out themselves too. And like we mentioned, self-doubt is something that we also deal with. Pretty much
everyone does, but you can't let that hinder you.
We do, and you should always do. And again, you are meant to do great things as long as you just believe it and do it. And even if you don't believe it in the moment, just do it.
Like I said, confidence is the decision to try, and self-doubt is the decision not to.
And confidence is a
skill! Period. Point dot period. Find comfort in yourself. Believe in yourself, because you can't expect anyone else to. You are your guide in this life. And people can support you, people can be there for you, but even if you fail, you are the one that's going to get you back up, not anyone else. So spend time with yourself. Be there for yourself. And remember, self-doubt is something everyone goes through, but it is something you can also get through.
Yeah. If you're watching this and you are in your early 20s or in your 20s like us, then it's very important to take advantage of that, because you're at a great time in your life where you can really still get to know yourself and go through all of these experiences actually doing, so that you grow up to be the most truest, authentic version of yourself, knowing that despite fear and despite unknown circumstances, you put yourself out there. So
thank you guys for watching. We love you guys so much.
Stay tuned for episode 6
next week.
Drum roll. Ready? Mwah.